What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Roger That Chronicles. It's Cappuccino behind the scenes here with Chris Boston. Hey, listen, if you like what you see here today, go to the old Google box to that YouTube channel, 216 Creator Studios. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you ding that bell for the future notifications. Chris, how you been? I missed the last episode. I wasn't here. I'm sorry for that.
I can't believe it.
I know, I'm fired. Listen, you've been doing a lot of hard work out there and you got some really cool stuff coming up. And so today's episode is pretty exciting. I'm really excited about that. So what have you been up to? Good answer. Anyway, that's our show for today, folks. I know you've been busy.
Yeah.
I know you've been busy.
Yeah.
And we scramble around and then we get these episodes out at the same time on top of what you're doing, on top of and everything else. How's the family doing? Okay.
Yeah. So it's good. We've got an event we're participating in tomorrow, so that'll be cool. It's where Fox River Grove. Y'all are invited if you don't know about it already. And so there's going to be 3 bus loads of veterans from the different hospitals, 3 different hospitals. And there's going to be pontoon boats. So they're going to be served lunch and get to go out on the pontoon boat. So hopefully it doesn't rain when they're out there. So that'll be fun. And then we've got a cool veterans camping event this weekend, so that'll be fun too.
Well, and so I don't know if we can, spoiler alert, you have a grandbaby on the way.
Yes.
Congratulations to that. When is that happening?
In July sometime. Yes,
you're on call.
Yes, yeah. I am on call.
Yeah.
My bag is halfway packed, so when I get home I can go.
So what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to be talking with a couple military spouses, and it's kind of funny. I even was talking with one of my neighbors to see if she wanted to be on the show, and it's like sometimes a military spouse is there at the beginning of the journey, sometimes in the middle of the journey, and sometimes after they get out of the service journey. So. We don't even know what we're going to hear today. It's going to be a surprise.
Thank you, ladies, for being on the outside of that and the support system to the troops that we have out there too. I'm sure that can't be an easy mission for you as well. Is that correct?
It can be hard to kind of go solo.
Yeah.
When they're out.
I bet.
Yeah. So today we've got Drenda with us and we've got Stephanie. So how about if I start with Drenda, and what military branch did your husband serve in, and when did you meet him along that journey, and what were your feelings at that point?
Okay. So my spouse we had just been married about 6 months, and he had been looking into all sorts of lines of work, trying to figure out what he wanted to do for a career. And really, we tried back then, we didn't have the internet. So you had to go to the library and look up stuff. And we kept looking into stuff, what he would like. He thought about firemen. He tried testing to do that because his older brother was one. But I basically said, "Oh, hon, you've got to make the choice." And so then he calls me at work one day and said, "Hey, I joined the Army Reserves." I'm like, "Oh, I thought we maybe discussed the choice," but he did it. And I wasn't super thrilled at the time because we'd only been married for a little bit, but he did his, I think it was 5-week training in Oklahoma. So that was a little distance. But his parents and I and my parents all went to go see him graduate. So that was like kind of cool just to see they were all proud of him. And then he just did his reserve duty, doing it, like every month there was a weekend he had to go. And then a couple times in the summer, it'd be a little bit more, but then he got, what do you call it? Called up for Iraqi freedom. And so, and we had 3 little ones at the time, and he he had to go away, and ended up being 13 months he was away. So that was tough, because being in reserves, you don't have like a military community that you're living around to support each other. So that was a little tough. But we survived it, and came back, and it was like you had a little restart and kind of a new season. And then we thought we were done with our 3 kids, but we had 2 more. So
You never know what life's going to bring.
right. So that was the gist of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Stephanie?
So my husband Josh, he was in the United States Army. We met in 2000. You're gonna put me on the spot. 2008, 2009. After he came home from Iraq, we met through a mutual friend. And we ended up building a great friendship for many, many years. And in 2016, after living lives and going on and having children and with other people, life brought us back together, and here we are.
You're married, and
now we are married. And that.
Very good. Very good. So I know you need to leave a little bit early, so I want to give you kind of some space to share more. Because I know everybody has a story, and I just want to give you the opportunity to share what you'd like to share about the journey.
Okay.
Like maybe like what you would have liked to have known, maybe some of the different struggles. I mean, you kind of hit on the point of that he didn't have that community because he was a reservist coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. It was different probably being a reservist, because when he got back, he had to kind of just get right back into civilian life. And it was a challenge for him being away, and especially the desert and coming back to Illinois. That was a transition.
Yeah.
And, those first 2, like 4th of July's, he did not like fireworks and stuff. That was rough. But at the same time, I wish we had pursued it, or we would have known of more opportunities for just some kind of support, or maybe therapy and stuff, counseling, something, but we didn't. Life was just full with our kids and stuff. We unfortunately, we are now divorced, but just newly divorced. It was about 4 years ago he left. But I know some of the struggles, I think, were with the war, because our oldest son, he decided to join the Marines. And so he joined about 4 years ago. And so that was when, my ex, he confided in our son a little bit of just warning him, like, hey, at every base, you've got to watch out. There's bars and strip joints, and try to, steer clear of the stuff that's going to bring you down. And then even just touched on, him, what he had to go through in the war a little bit, just a touch though. But it's like, so that was, goodness, 15 years between the war and when he, just opened up a little bit. But then, so my son now, it's so ironic. When he was little, he said, Mom, do I have to be a soldier in the Army like Dad? I'm like, oh no, that's what Daddy chose, when he was, a little guy, a little toddler probably. And that's ended up being what he chose to do. And so he's all in. He's done his 4 years, and he's staying in it as a career. So yeah.
For service.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. No, it's awesome to see him really excel. And one little side note. Okay. So we homeschooled. I've got one last one that I'm homeschooling. All the rest have all been through.
Bless your heart.
I know. Yet it was not a job I thought I was going to start. It just kind of, it was one of those where I felt like everywhere I looked and turned, someone was saying homeschool. So I felt like it was just a God thing. He was saying, you need to do this. And so it was a humongously hard job, but very rewarding. But my son, the oldest one that's in the Marines, he struggled a little bit with reading comprehension. So we would do a lot of audiobooks. I'm like, oh, well, he's getting it. He's getting it. And then in the Marines and any military branch, they break you down and insult you and pick on every little thing they can. And so that was one area that he got picked on about was homeschooling. But then he told the guys, like, wait, who got the highest score on his ASVAB entry test? I'm like, you did? So I just felt like it was a little confirmation. I'm like, okay, I did a good job. But that was awesome just to see that he still felt like he could be confident even in those, those types of things like homeschooling. So, yeah.
So what kind of feelings do you have as a mom sending one off to the military, knowing what you experienced as a spouse?
Well, I will say the biggest thing is just trusting God, because, when you have 5 kids, you don't have enough hands or eyeballs to control everybody. And when you have a spouse that had to go, you can't control that. And emotionally, you just have to be like, all right, God, you've got it. These are your kids. That's your son. You love them more than I could. And just trusting him that, okay, he'll be okay. And of course, praying, and I've pointed him towards some of the resources like you, and then one other gentleman at church who's in the Navy. Okay. Mighty Oaks, another organization that helps out. So I've pointed him towards things that can hopefully help him, give him a little more resources.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know from my end, I'm not a spouse of a military member, but my son, and just the journey that we went through and that struggle and not knowing, kind of exactly what to expect. Yeah. I mean, I went to the classes and they're like, oh, watch out for this, watch out for that, but he had put a mask on for so long. And then eventually that mask has to come down. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't remember any of this stuff.
It was so long.
I didn't remember any of the training. And then it was like, what do I do? Yeah. And fortunately, I had the support group from the other Marine moms and dads. And so I kind of like reached out to them. Oh, number one, is my son the only one experiencing this? And then when I found out no, number two, what did you do?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm still new in it. So yeah, he just got his new, what do you call it? MOS.
Yeah.
He just graduated in the intelligence field. So and then because of that, he's like, oh, Mom, I've got a project. And that's about all I hear. So I don't, Thanks, so that probably keeps me not worrying as much because I don't know what he's doing.
That's right. That's right.
So my son is on the tail end of his naval career, right? And I know what it's like as a dad when the world is crazy like it is right now. Walk me through what I can't comprehend the thoughts that would go through your head during that crazy time with your spouse over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after, maybe in a year or two, we'll have you come back, and I'd love to compare the difference between mom and spouse, right? So how do you 5 kids, you kept busy, you give it up to God, but there's still a human piece of it that says, holy crap, am I going to get that knock on the door?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 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 Definitely there were times, lots of like hard nights being alone and wondering what's going to go on. But, I think, with having, and at that time it was just the 3 kids, but that felt crazy enough with the 3 where you're just so focused on keeping them alive and clothed and fed and stuff. So it was one of those, I probably didn't give myself too much of an opportunity to think about it. And that, just keeping busy, which I don't want to say that's like an avoidant thing, but it's also a survival technique,
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. I just kind of kept on plowing forward.
And then
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to just touch briefly on when he came home, whether it's like, I mean, they've got their liberties and then when they get out and stuff, and they're not the same
Yeah.
as they were when they left.
Mhm.
And just some of the, I guess, not necessarily some of the challenges, maybe some of the challenges that would be
Mhm.
good to hear. And then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the hard thing was getting reconnected. But I think it was our marriage was always a little bit hard because he was in sales. So he'd be gone for a whole week, come home for a week. So I was always having to do it kind of on my own, feeling like a solo parent a lot, even though I wasn't the one bringing in the income, but
Right.
having to raise the kids and run the house. And so that's the one thing I feel like I probably was like, okay, I'm going to do the best I can do to run the finances, the house, the car maintenance, all the stuff that needed to get done. I wanted to just make sure he didn't have to worry about those things. It was being done well. And then back when he was gone, there was like hardly any opportunity to connect. I mean, I remember we used little phone cards to try to call, and if you could
right.
coordinate a time when you could call it, there wasn't cell phones. There was an email was like a joke back then. So yeah, so I didn't have an opportunity to connect with him a whole lot. So when he came back, it was hard because he was different, but at the same time, like I said before, we had like almost like a restart to be like, okay, you're alive, you're home, we're together. Let's really enjoy this. So it was like it was like a little new restart to be like, okay, we're going to try to pour into this